Let's be honest for a moment. Have there been times when you look around and it feels like someone's put a gray filter over your world? You're not alone, not by a long shot. And that's why today, I want to share a journey with you, a story we're calling From Numb to Alive. It's all about 3 simple steps to reclaim joy, even when it feels like your colors have faded. Things that used to excite you now just feel meh. That amazing meal everyone's talking about. For you, it's just food. A funny story, you might crack a smile, but that real, belly-aching laughter feels like a distant cousin you haven't seen in years. And the exhaustion, it's not just your body that's tired, is it? It's like your spirit is weary too, making it hard to enjoy life. Many of us, when we feel this way, start searching for big, complicated solutions. We think a new city, a different job, or winning the lottery will magically bring back the joy. We believe true happiness is hard to find, hidden behind major achievements. But what if the path to enjoying life again, to really feeling it again, is much simpler and quieter and already within your reach? Today, we won't talk about massive life changes. Instead, we'll follow the story of Anna. Anna felt like she was watching her own life from a distance, like the sound was turned off and the experiences were blurred. But she found her way back to joy, not with a complex map, but through 3 surprisingly simple steps to feel alive. These are steps anyone can try. And if you stay with me to the very end of this video, I'll share one extra little trick, a tiny tool that can help you find a spark, even when you feel completely out of energy. You know, for Anna, it felt like her world had just slowly turned gray, one day at a time, until everything was covered in this fine, dull dust. Waking up was a struggle. Heavy didn't even begin to cover it, more like trying to swim up from the bottom of a deep, dark pool. Her coffee? It was just bitter liquid she had to drink. Pleasure wasn't part of the equation anymore. Staring at her work screen was like watching abstract art she didn't understand, while her brain just kept asking, "This is it? This is my life." And she just knew with this cold dread that settled in her heart, this wasn't living. It was like being a background character in someone else's much more interesting movie, just existing, drifting, feeling stuck and unable to enjoy things. The thought of always feeling this way, it was more than just scary, it was a quiet, constant terror. She'd ache with missing the her who used to find so much joy in simple moments, or the way sunlight made patterns on the floor. The biggest fear became, what if that version of me is gone forever, lost in this fog? So, if you're feeling that grayness like Anna was, your path to clarity can begin with the first simple step. Walking through the storm, not around it. For years, whenever that familiar cold wave of sadness tried to pull her down, or a sharp feeling of anxiety hit her, Anna's first instinct was to build a wall around her heart. Stay positive. Her inner voice would scold, "You're fine. Other people have it worse." She'd then scroll endlessly on her phone, looking at other people's seemingly perfect lives, which only made her feel worse. Or she'd watch hours of mindless TV, anything to silence the uncomfortable feeling growing inside her. It was like trying to ignore a house on fire by polishing the doorknobs. But one particularly bleak Tuesday evening in November, after a day where every small task felt like dragging a heavy weight, that wall didn't just crack, it shattered. She sat on her worn-out couch. The city lights outside blurred through the rain on her window. The tight, painful knot in her chest finally began to loosen. Tears, hot and surprisingly strong, the kind that carry years of unexpressed sadness, streamed down her face. It wasn't a loud, dramatic cry, just a quiet, tired release of all the unspoken sadness, the unacknowledged fears, and the huge weight of just trying so hard to be okay when she really, truly wasn't. And in that moment of surrender, something unexpected happened. It wasn't a sudden burst of happiness, no music started playing. But as she sat there, wrapped in an old, soft blanket, simply allowing the sadness to be there without fighting it, a tiny feeling of relief appeared. It wasn't like a huge weight was instantly lifted, but more like carefully setting down a very heavy, invisible backpack she hadn't realized she was carrying for so long. This was Anna's real turning point, her first shaky step out of the shadows. She began to understand that these difficult feelings weren't flaws to be hidden or enemies to be defeated. They were messengers, perhaps tired from their long journey, to be heard, trying to tell her something important about her life and what needed to change. The simple, powerful truth she found that rainy night, acknowledging your real feeling, truly letting yourself feel them without judging yourself, is the first brave, essential step towards letting the light back into your world, even if it's just a little at first, and a key to how to enjoy life more. Letting that internal storm pass brought a strange, fragile quiet to Anna's world. The heavy gray feeling hadn't vanished, but it seemed thinner, not so overwhelming. Yet, with this new stillness came a new question. Okay, I've cried, I've felt it. Now what? The path forward still felt foggy. How could she find her way to a life that felt genuinely more colorful, more truly her? Once that internal storm begins to settle and a fragile quiet emerges, like it did for Anna, you might then be ready to uncover the second simple step, finding your hidden map in the hurt. Anna started to gently ask herself some honest, quiet questions with a new curiosity. She stopped the harsh, self-critical questions like,
what's wrong with me? Can't a girl just be happy?
Instead, she tried softer ones. What was that deep, ongoing ache in my soul really about? If this gray feeling is a sign, what is it trying to tell me? What part of me, what dream or wish, has been asking for attention, its voice almost lost in the noise of daily life, unheard for so long? She didn't expect immediate, life-changing answers. This wasn't a race. As she sat with these questions, sometimes just for a few quiet minutes before sleep, or while stirring her morning tea, letting her thoughts come and go, little clues began to appear, like old photographs slowly becoming clear. She remembered, with the mix of sweetness and sadness, the pure joy she used to feel when she would lose herself for hours in painting. Her hands would be smudged with bold colors, her mind happily focused only on her art. It was a passion she packed away years ago, calling it silly when real life got too busy. Now she realized too busy just meant I started believing other things were more important than my own sparks of joy. She also recalled the easy laughter and deep conversations she used to share with close friends, now mostly replaced by quick texts and short updates that barely touched on their real lives. The ongoing pain of her joyless routine she started to see wasn't just random or a sign she was broken. It was like a compass, a sensitive internal compass, its needle no longer spinning wildly, but now pointing steadily towards what her soul truly craved, a way to express her creativity, real human connection that made her feel seen and understood, and a sense of purpose deeper than just finishing a to-do list. The simple, human insight she found here, the one that became her guide, our deepest struggles, the experiences that cause us the most pain, often hold the key to our truest fulfillment. If we listen carefully, with kindness to ourselves, our hurt might just be showing us the way back home to who we really are, helping us find more joy in life. Knowing what you truly need is a huge insight. But when the thought of big changes feels overwhelming, there's a gentler way forward. This understanding can lead you to the third simple step. Tiny sparks to gently relight your world. Anna decided, with gentle kindness to herself, if big leaps were too much right now, she could try a tiny step, even a crawl. Instead of facing a large, empty canvas and many tubes of paint, she found an old, dusty sketch pad and a single, chewed-up pencil. One quiet Saturday afternoon, with no big expectations, she sat by the window and just doodled. A slightly crooked cat, a wobbly flower that looked a bit like a friendly alien. Her inner critic, that familiar nagging voice, immediately said,
That's terrible.
You call that art?
But for the first time in a long while, a quieter, gentler voice whispered back,
Who cares? Who cares?
It feels nice. Feels like me.
And as she drew a ridiculously cheerful sun in the corner of the page, a tiny, real smile touched her lips. The next day, thinking about connection, she remembered a dear friend she hadn't spoken to properly in months. The thought of a long phone call still felt like too much. So instead, she sent a simple text. Hey, just saw a super fluffy dog in the park that reminded me of your old dog, Barnaby. Made me smile. Hope you're doing well. No pressure for a long reply, no big explanation for her silence. Just a small, friendly hello. These actions, from the outside, seemed almost laughably small. But Anna, with a quiet, growing determination, kept doing them. 5 minutes of sketching sometimes stretched into 10. A simple text often led to a brief, warm exchange of messages, or even a short phone call that left her feeling a little less alone. She started taking a slightly different route on her daily walk, just to notice the tiny purple flowers pushing through a crack in the sidewalk, or the way the afternoon sun made the old brick buildings glow. These were her tiny habits for a happier life. These weren't huge events, but each tiny spark, each small act of doing what she valued, what brought even a little warmth or curiosity, began to gently chase away more of the gray. It felt, she said later, like slowly, patiently bringing a shy, flickering flame in a cold fireplace back to a steady, comforting glow. The simple, beautiful, and freeing truth Anna discovered is that you don't need a huge fire to start feeling better. A single, consistent spark, patiently cared for, can eventually light up your whole world. Tiny, gentle actions, repeated over time, build surprising and powerful momentum, leading you, step by almost invisible step, back to yourself. So for Anna, finding her way back to a life with real color, laughter, and connection wasn't about a big, dramatic quest or a magical fix. It was a journey made of the quiet courage to sit with her own storms, the gentle honesty to listen to her heart's quiet wishes, and the patient kindness to begin again and again with the smallest, most manageable sparks. These 3 steps we've walked through with Anna, truly allowing yourself to feel your emotions, finding your direction in what hurts you most, and starting with very tiny, consistent actions, they aren't a secret code for only a few people. They're deeply human, they're available to everyone, and they simply ask for a little willingness and gentle curiosity to try. This is how you too can begin to rediscover your own unique, vibrant colors, the ones that make your life yours.
Leave the light on in this car. Set me on fire like the light wire that you are. And don't be a shooting star.
Now, because you stayed with us and with Anna all the way to the end, here's that one extra super simple trick I promised. It's a tiny habit, a very small practice that can make a surprisingly big difference in shifting your focus and finding a bit of light, especially when you're feeling drained or the world seems bleak. It's called the sunset scan. Sometime before your day ends, or just as you're getting into bed, take literally 30 seconds. In that brief, quiet moment, actively look back over your day for one small thing, just one single thing that wasn't terrible, or maybe, just maybe, was even a tiny bit good. Did your coffee taste okay today? Did you see a cute dog or a pretty cloud? Did a song make you tap your foot, even for a second? Did you find matching socks without a major search party? Just one tiny, positive thing. Holding on to that one small, good moment, no matter how small it seems, and acknowledging it simply is like finding a single, unexpected star twinkling in a vast, dark sky. It's a gentle, powerful reminder that there's still light to be found, always, and that you, most importantly, have the power to notice it and find joy in small things. Hello, thinkers and feelers. Want to make sure your feed has a little less meh and a bit more aha? Ring that notification bell like it just told you a surprisingly good joke. That way, our next simple steps to a more colorful life will find you. So, that was that. You watched it, all of it, which is pretty amazing. My inner monologue is doing a little happy dance. Thank you so much for watching.